Good afternoon, this is MetLoop meteorologist Nancy Koslick here with an update on today's forecast. Today we're tracking a couple of different systems out there, the first one being a cold front that's draped across the southeast this afternoon, and the second being an upper level low pressure system that's spinning a lot of activity along the west coast for today, and this is going to continue to be the case actually for the next couple of days. So we'll touch on that here in just a second, but first here's a look at those temperatures out there this afternoon. Notice you can see exactly where that line is, that boundary of those cooler temperatures spilling their way down into the southeast, with of course the 70s and 80s continuing for portions of Florida and even the very tip of Texas, still hanging into those 70s as of right now, but that front is continuing to make its way further to the south. Now, as far as the weather situation out there this afternoon goes, again, we are watching that frontal boundary draped across the southeast. We're not looking at a whole lot of activity this afternoon, just a few spotty showers out there, but there's not a ton of moisture to work with, so we're not expecting anything in the way of severe thunderstorms, just some light shower activity along that front. Elsewhere, here's a look at that area of low pressure out in the west, and notice we've got a wide variety of things happening from Washington all the way through central California this afternoon, and we're seeing that wintry mix out there, of course snow in the higher elevations, and of course the rainfall down along the coastline. So really where things are going to get tricky here heading into the next couple of days is where we're seeing that freezing rain, and that creates extremely dangerous travel situations out there. Those roadways get very, very slick very quickly, and it does not take much ice for that to happen. So over the next day or so, we're going to continue watching this low track off to the northeast, and actually multiple frontal boundaries will be making their way through. So we're going to keep this activity in the forecast all the way through the upcoming weekend. Here's a look at the expected snowfall totals over the next 24 hours for both the western U.S., but also New York. Going to continue to see a lot of that lake effect snow. We're really not getting much of a break up here, and we could be seeing several more inches over the next 24 hours, 5, 6, 7 more inches possible for the western portions of New York over the next day or so. Of course, heading out into the west, we're going to see even more in the way of snowfall, and that's because all of that Pacific moisture is going to continue streaming its way onto the coast, and of course the higher elevations receiving the most of it. We could be seeing up to 2 feet of snow before the weekend is said and done. We could be seeing a foot just in the next 24 hours for places like the Sierra Nevadas and back into the higher elevations of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming as well. Now, in addition to this, we're also seeing the possibility of some ice accumulation, not a ton of it, but where we're seeing that freezing rain out there this afternoon, this is where we could be seeing that little bit of accumulation, which is just enough to really make things slick out there as far as driving goes. Now, of course, we're also looking at a lot of rainfall in store for us, especially along the coastline of Oregon and up into the northern portions of California. Several inches of rainfall set to fall over the next 72 hours for the West Coast. Looking ahead at the future radar, it should come as no surprise that we're going to continue to see plenty of activity in the western United States. Of course, this includes rainfall, snow, and freezing rain heading up into especially portions of southern Washington and northern Oregon, where we could see a bit of that ice accumulation out there for the rest of today. So again, if you live in this area of the country, be sure to be very, very careful on those roadways because they will be quite slick heading into the next day or so. In addition to that, the snowfall will continue for the higher elevations, and of course, as we saw just a minute ago, several more inches of rain in store, especially along the coastline. Elsewhere throughout the country, things are going to stay pretty quiet for tonight, with the exception of that lake effect snow continuing for portions of New York, and just a few scattered showers for South Texas, and everything that's in Florida this afternoon should start to die out as well, and this is along that frontal boundary as it continues to make its way through. As always, you can receive more of your weather information on our Facebook page as well as Twitter and metloop.com. Thank you very much for watching this afternoon. Stay safe out there and have a great weekend.